Well, our poor sap pseudo-lawyer is back in court. He is talking with the judge about an appeal. Seems like the judge should have let him record, so the judge is explaining what would happen if he were to appeal. Well, and he does appeal. The appeals court dismisses his appeals, and he decides not to have a new trial, but to pay the fine, buy a tag, and hope that he can get his driver's license back. So this will be kind of interesting. Hope you all enjoy it.
You basically get a new start. I mean, probably what you've gotten if you've gone appeal and won, they would just send it back and say start over. So short circuit process. With the justice court, the only thing is I'm waiting for the files. I know a couple of charges were dismissed before I even saw the case. It was like a red. I don't have files. I remember there were some charges dismissed because it came in proofs. Those charges I want to make sure stay dismissed. It's just the two issues that went to trial will be done over again in justice court. They will do it. Here we go.
My bad, I put them in the desk. I just thought you wanted them. So they're
Oh,
trying
it's just that way.
So I'm sorry, I didn't read it. I just
Well, I can't go through a new trial. We've already done that.
Well, what'll happen, but you would have done it. Say you've gone an appeal, you're appealing. If you'd won an appeal, they would send it back and do it over, what they would have done. So basically you're doing, but it's a different judge, it's a different court. What was dismissed? This is the one part that was dismissed.
Well, I'd rather you just dismiss
I can't
it.
dismiss it outright.
Why not?
Well, because there's still, yeah, B and C were dismissed. Registration, transfer title were dismissed. So it's just the insurance ticket and the one from November
Mm-hmm.
and the obscure plate charge from December. Because like I said, if you've gone it, you're appealing it. If you've been successful on appeal, what generally would have happened is they would just sent it back and do it over again. They generally don't dismiss the charges on appeal unless factually they found issues with the case. Your concerns are more procedural than factual. I mean, you never really contested the facts. You contested the procedure, what was going on, what was the minutes.
I contested the facts of evidence.
Well,
yes.
you contested. Well, that's what I mean. You're going to do it all over again. Just do it all over again. It probably would have happened if you would have been successful in appeals. Probably would have happened. Send it back. Say do it over again. All this has done is it's going to just speeds up the process. And you go to a different court, different set of judges.
Well, I'm already dealing with 2 tickets there. They already know what's going on.
Well, but this way, I mean, if you want, I can keep it here, but I mean, it would just be in the judge's court. It won't be me. Or would you prefer to the justice court? I'll give you the choice.
What are you talking about? A trial de novo?
Yeah, it's a trial de novo, but except for the charges that previously dismissed. So it's just the insurance and the pure plate. I mean, if you want to keep it here, I have no problem. But if you want to transfer it to justice court, where it's a different judge, different court, I'm giving you the choice.
I don't know. I didn't know what to expect today. I was hoping to get it dismissed because
No, it's not going to get dismissed outright. It's going to, because what I did, I should have allowed you to record it. I was
Yeah.
wrong there. And so there, as a result, the trial, what I'm saying is the trial was a bad trial because of that. So I'm saying, okay, I'll give you a whole new trial.
well, it's a bad trial for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, that's the only one I'm willing to agree with you on the point is on the recording. Everything else, I don't necessarily agree with you on those points, but that's subject to the different issue. That's subject to something else. I mean, that's for someone else. I don't necessarily agree with what you're contending about the other issues, but that's why I'm getting out the case so you get a clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
No one will know what I said or what happened. I mean, especially if you go to another court. All they'll have is the paperwork. I guess they'll get the recordings too, but they're not going to listen to it. They're not going to go through the trouble listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suspect they will. They have enough things to do.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is you get a whole new trial just on the obscured plate from December 25th and the insurance violation from November 25th. You can even, if you want to,
I mean, we already went through the one trial, and the cop didn't show up that day, and it should
that
have
was
been
our fault.
dismissed.
That was because we didn't notify him. It wasn't because if he'd been notified and not showing up, it would have been dismissed. But he'd never been notified, and that was a mistake on our part. That was nothing, that was the whole reason for that. Now, if he'd been notified and didn't show up, dismissal would have occurred, but he hadn't been notified.
Well, if you're gonna make me go through a whole nother trial again, then I'm gonna have to appeal that.
Well, I guess you could, but I mean, you have that right to appeal that, but what'll happen is the original appeal will get dismissed. I mean, understand what's gonna happen. What I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, you're gonna win your appeal. And they would send it right back to here, they'd send it back here to be heard again. And I'm just saying, okay, let's just forget the whole appeal process, just go back to as though it never happened.
Well, if you think I would win on appeal, then,
If you win on appeal, all you get is a new trial. They don't dismiss charges on appeal.
no,
They don't.
that's what I'd ask for, is reverse.
Well, the reversal would have been reverse the decision. What they do is when they reverse the decision, say, okay, go and do it again. Because the issue that you're raising, well, I hadn't seen your appeal. I don't know what your appeal says.
Well, I filed an appeal already.
You filed a notice of appeal.
Well, I mean, with a case in the Justice Court, I went through a similar case, and I already appealed that, and that's already in the Superior Court.
That's where you would go. If you want us to continue in Superior Court, that's fine. If you want to do that and see what they do, I'll let you do that, but I'm giving you the option of doing it over again.
Well, I don't want to do anything. I want to go back to my peaceful life and get rid of this
Well,
violence.
I mean, the bottom is when you drive a vehicle, when you operate a motor vehicle, you have to follow the laws as they exist, whether you agree with them or not.
Well, there's a question of what is operating and if I was operating and that sort of thing. You weren't able to answer that.
You were, as I recall, the officer testified that he saw you driving the vehicle. That's operating.
Well, that was just, he had no personal first-hand knowledge that
He saw you do it.
the statutes applied.
Well, no, the statutes,
I mean, if he can say I was driving, then I can just say, no, I wasn't driving.
exactly. And then it becomes the judge to decide whether or not you were driving. And I said, yes, you were driving. In my mind, you were clearly driving the vehicle. I mean, there's no doubt in my, I mean, the issues become driving. Say the officer had never seen you driving the vehicle. Like he sat there and he stopped you because someone on the street said, stop that guy who was driving. Then that becomes an issue. But the fact is that I recall in this case, and I'm going from memory, is that one case, he pulled you over, he saw you driving. If I remember right, and I'm not sure, that you pulled into a Circle K or some convenience store and he saw the plate on your vehicle. Is that
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
And so he saw you drive in with it, so he saw you operating.
Yeah, but he presented no evidence that I was driving.
Yeah, he did. He said he saw you drive the car into the store, whatever it was, the Circle K. We'll just say Circle K for sake of argument. I don't know what it was.
He just saw something. He didn't provide any evidence, though.
That's his evidence. His testimony is evidence. I mean, his testimony is evidence. He doesn't have to. Well, that's up to the trier of fact. The judge is the trier of fact. The judge decides what are and are not the facts of the case. The officer presents his side, you present your side, and you're saying, no, I wasn't operating the vehicle.
Well, I in my discovery request, I asked for evidence that the statute applied, and
The statute, it's a matter of law. It's not a factual issue. It's not a factual issue. That's a legal issue, whether or not the statutes apply.
yeah.
And the facts are, and the legal thing is that if you're driving a motor vehicle on the roads in Arizona, the laws of the state of Arizona apply.
But the applicability of the statutes goes to jurisdiction, and once that's contested, it has to be proved by competent evidence.
It has to be, you're right, it has to be proved by competent evidence, and the evidence, as I found at the trial, was the officer testified, he saw you operating a motor vehicle.
But he didn't even know what a state is, or he wasn't
That's
competent.
irrelevant. He doesn't have to know. All he has to testify to is he saw you driving a vehicle and occurred in the state of Arizona.
Well, he wasn't competent to know that it
Well,
was applicable.
That's a legal issue. And if you want to contest that, if you want the appeal to go forward, fine, we'll do that. And we'll just say what happened, happened, and we'll let it go forward. If you want to do that, you can. What I'm saying is I'm giving you a chance to do this again in front of a different judge. Start from scratch. You may get a different result. You may get the same result. I don't know, because I will be part of that process. I have nothing to do with it. I'll be out of the picture. But I'm letting you have the choice. If you want a whole new trial, I'm not going to dismiss it. I'll tell you right now, I will not. Now, the next judge who gets the case may dismiss it. That's that judge's decision for that judge to make. That judge can decide, yeah, okay, I'll dismiss it. For whatever reason, and I have no say or control or whatever that judge is. I have no influence. I don't even know who the judge would be.
Yeah, well, this is your court.
Well, that means why I want to transfer to justice court. And it's not my court, and I definitely don't know. So I mean, by transfer to justice court, it gets away from me completely. I have no influence over there whatsoever. That's why I said, that's why I'm suggesting go to justice court. So my influence disappears once you just outside this building.
I don't know. Do I have any time to think about this?
Do you want to think about it and come back in a couple of weeks?